Hi everyone, welcome to Keep Calm and Crochet. Today I'm going to show you how to crochet this cute little bat. For this tutorial you're going to need DK yarn in grey and black and a tiny bit of white for the finer details. I'm going to be working this with a 3.5mm crochet hook. In addition to this, you're going to need a pair of scissors, stitch marker, darning needle, 12mm security eyes and some fibre fill. So make sure you've got all of those components. Now before we start, if you enjoy watching my tutorials, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Let's get started. We're going to start off with the head of this bat, and for this let's grab our grey yarn and work a slip knot using whatever method you prefer. We're going to chain 2, keeping both of the chains really nice and loose because we will be working quite a few stitches in the first chain here. Now this method I'm using is an alternative to magic ring, but if you prefer working with magic ring, then skip this step and start your round 1 straight into your magic ring. But for this method here, skip your first chain, slip your hook in the second chain from your hook and work 8 single crochets here. 2 loops on your hook, pull through both, and that's your first single crochet. Second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and here's my 8th one. Once you have your 8 single crochets, pull on this bit of yarn to eliminate the gap between your stitches, and this brings your stitches close together so you can start working in a spiral. Now to work in a spiral, you're going to locate your first single crochet of your previous round and slip your hook in there. And work your first single crochet of round 2 in that stitch there. So that's your first single crochet of round 2 done. Going back into that same stitch to work another single crochet. Now when you work 2 single crochets in the same stitch, it's called an increase. I'm going to start using a stitch marker from here. So I'm going to place this in my first single crochet that I've just worked to keep an accurate stitch count and to know exactly where my starting point is. So that's my first increase. We're going to be working 8 increases in this round. And that's my second increase. Third. And here's my last one, increase number 8. Once you worked your 8 increases, this should bring your stitch count to 16. Let's start the next round by working a single crochet in our first stitch, stitch marker back in place, and we are going to follow this single crochet on with an increase in the next stitch. So 2 single crochets in this stitch, the same stitch. And there we go, there's your repeat for this round. We're going to work 1 single crochet and follow that on with an increase. And repeat that all the way around until you get to this point here. So go ahead and work that and then meet me back here. I've now made my way all the way around and this finishes our round. And your stitch count should be 24. Let's start the next round by working 3 single crochets in a row. Here's my first, stitch marker back in place, second and third. Follow these 3 single crochets on with an increase in the next stitch. And here's your repeat for this round, 3 single crochets followed on with an increase, and repeat that all the way around. At the end of this round, your stitch count is 30. Let's start the next round by working 2 single crochets in a row. Let's put the stitch marker back in place. And in the next stitch, we're going to work an increase. and follow this increase with 2 more single crochets in a row. And here's your repeat for this round. It's 2 single crochets increase, 2 single crochets, 2 single crochets increase, 2 single crochets. Going to repeat that all the way around. At the end of this round, your stitch count should be 36. Let's start the next round by working 5 single crochets in a row. Here's my first, second, stitch marker back in place, third, fourth, and fifth. Follow these 5 single crochets on with an increase in the next stitch. And we're going to repeat this combination all the way around until you get to this point. Go ahead and finish that and then meet me back here. At the end of this round, your stitch count is 42. Let's start the next round by working 3 single crochets in a row. 1, 2, and 3. Stitch marker back in place. Increase in the next stitch, followed on by 3 more single crochets in a row. And here's your repeat for this round. 3 single crochets increase, 3 single crochets, 3 single crochets increase, 3 single crochets. Repeat that all the way around. At the end of this round, your stitch count should be 48. We're now going to start the next round by working 7 single crochets in a row. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's take a minute to put our stitch marker back in place. 5, 6, 7, and follow these 7 single crochets on with an increase. And here's your repeat for this round. 7 single crochets in a row followed on by the increase, and repeat that all the way around. At the end of this round, your stitch count should be 54. Let's start the next round by working a single crochet in our first stitch. Stitch marker back in place. We're going to follow the single crochet on with a single crochet in every one of these stitches. To finish this round off, you're going to need 54 single crochets in a row to get to this point. Once you've done that, you're going to follow the same method 9 times altogether to have 9 rounds of just single crochet. In each round, you will have 54 single crochet. Then you're going to take the stitch marker off and continue working, and another 54 single crochets, and so on until you have 9 rounds and you've gained in length. So go ahead, work 9 rounds of single crochet with 54 single crochets in each round, and then meet me back here. At the end of 9 rounds of single crochet, your stitch count should still be 54, and this is what the head should look like at this point. Going to take a minute and insert some security eyes into this head. I've already gone ahead and done one. You're going to do this, pull this thread out so you don't lose the stitch. We're going to go in the opposite direction and count the stitches from the top. We're going to be inserting the eyes between round 13 and 14. So the stitches in between those, this is where you're going to insert the eye. And once you've done one, you're going to count 8 stitches in between. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then insert the eye in the stitch after that, like this. Now let's go ahead, turn this way around and double check that the eyes have gone in the same round. The eyes on my one have gone in the same round, so I can go ahead and put the backing on. And we're going to continue with our next round. And for this, let's start by working 7 single crochets in a row. Here's my first one. Stitch marker back in place. second, sixth, and here's my seventh one. Once you have your 7 single crochets in a row, we're going to work decreases in this round. So to work a decrease, you're going to slip your hook in the next stitch, pull up a loop, do the same with the stitch after that, slip your hook in there, pull up a loop. We have 3 loops on a hook, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops in one go, tighten it, and that's your decrease. And we're going to be repeating that all the way around. Let's show you this one more time. Starts off by working 7 single crochets, 5, 6, and 7, followed on with a decrease. And to do this, you're going to pull up a loop from the next 2 stitches, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3 in one go. And here's your repeat for this round, 7 single crochets followed on with a decrease. Go ahead, use that and work your way all the way around and meet me back when you get to this point. At the end of this round, your stitch count should be 48. We're now going to start the next round by working 6 single crochets in a row. Here's my first one, stitch marker back in place, second, third, fourth, fifth, and here's my 6th one. Once you have your 6 single crochets in a row, you're going to follow that with a decrease. To work that, you're going to pull up a loop from the next 2 stitches, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3 in one go. And here's your combination for this round, 6 single crochets followed on with a decrease, and repeat that all the way around. Now from here, your next few rounds are going to be quite repetitive. So in last round we worked 7 single crochets followed on with a decrease. In this one we worked 6 single crochets followed on with a decrease. And the next 3 you are going to have 5 single crochets followed on with a decrease, then 4, and all the way to 3. So I'm going to write down all of these instructions and leave them up on the screen. So go ahead and take a screenshot and work the next 3 rounds and then meet me back here. Once you've finished working all the rounds mentioned on the screen, your stitch count should be 24. And this is what the head should look like at this point. We're going to now start working on the body, and we're going to continue working. So you're not going to snip the yarn. Instead, you're going to start by working an increase in the next stitch. And let's put the stitch marker back in place. And we're going to follow this increase on with an increase in every one of these stitches all the way around. There are 24 stitches here at the moment, so you're going to work 24 increases. So increase in every single one of these stitches. Go ahead and work that. Take a minute to stuff this head up with fiber fill as well, and then meet me back here. At the end of this round, your stitch count should be 48. We're going to now start the next round by working a single crochet in our first stitch. Stitch marker back in place. Follow the single crochet on with a single crochet in every one of these stitches all the way around. To finish this round, you're going to need a total of 48 single crochets all the way around. And once you've done that, you're going to follow the same method 5 times all together to have 5 rounds of just single crochet. So go ahead, work 5 rounds of single crochet and then meet me back here. At the end of 5 rounds of single crochet, your stitch count should still be 48. Now we're going to start the next round by working 4 single crochets in a row. Here's my first, second, stitch mark back in place, third, and here's my 4th one, followed on with a decrease. So pull up a loop from the next 2 stitches, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3 in one go. And here's your repeat for this round, 4 single crochet, followed on with a decrease. Repeat that all the way around. At the end of this round, your stitch count should be 40. Let's start the next round by working a single crochet in every one of these stitches all the way around. Don't forget to put the stitch marker in place. You're going to need 40 single crochets to go all the way around up to this point. Once you've done that, you're going to follow the same method one more time to have 2 rounds of just single crochet. Go ahead, work 2 rounds of single crochet and then meet me back here. At the end of 2 rounds of single crochet, your stitch count is still 40. Let's start the next round by working 3 single crochets in a row. That's 1, 2, 3, stitch marker back in place. Follow this on with a decrease. Pull up a loop from the next 2 stitches, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 3 in one go. And here's your repeat for this round. It's 3 single crochets followed on with a decrease. And just like this, go ahead and work that and meet me back here. At the end of this round, your stitch count is 32. We're going to now start the next round by working a single crochet in our first stitch. Stitch marker back in place. Follow the single crochet on with a single crochet in every one of these stitches all the way around. To finish this round, you're going to need 32 single crochets in a row, and that should bring you back to this starting point. So go ahead and work that and meet me back here. At the end of 1 round of single crochet, your stitch count is still 32. I'll start the next round by working 2 single crochets in a row. That's 1, 2, stitch marker back in place. Follow this on with a decrease. Pull up a loop from the next 2 stitches. 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3 in one go. And here's your combination for this round. 2 single crochets followed on with a decrease. And we're going to repeat that all the way around. And for the last time, that's 2 single crochets followed on with a decrease. Now we're going to start the next round with a single crochet in our first stitch. Stitch marker back in place. Follow this single crochet on with a single crochet in every one of these stitches all the way around. To finish this round, you're going to need 24 single crochets in a row. Now, as you can see, the gap between the stitches is decreasing with every single round, so make sure to stuff this up nice and well before working this round. Finish this round with 24 single crochets in a row and then meet me back here. At the end of this round of single crochets, your stitch count is still 24. Now we're going to start the next round by working a single crochet in our first stitch. Stitch marker back in place. Follow this on with a decrease. Pull up a loop from the next 2 stitches. 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3 in one go. And here's your combination for this round. 1 single crochet followed on with a decrease. And repeat that all the way around. And last one. 1 single crochet followed on with our final decrease here of this round. This brings your stitch count to 16. We're now going to work our final round to close this gap off. So if there is any space, go ahead and fill this up with fibre fill. And once the body is stuffed nice and well, we're going to work our final round. And for this, you're going to be working decreases in every single one of these stitches. Here's my first decrease. Give it a little pull so it closes the gap off better or sufficiently. That's your second one. Third. Fourth. And there we go, that's my last decrease. I still have a tiny gap left between my stitches. I'm going to slip my hook in the opposite direction like this and pull up a loop from there. Make this loop go through the loop that's already on your hook. Now from here, let's go ahead and snip this yarn off. Pull it out of the stitch and pull this down to secure this in place. And we are going to use a hook, slip your hook inside and push the fibre fill towards the end as well, so it's distributed well. Slip your top part of your hook, make it come out from the same stitch. Loop this yarn onto your hook and pull this in. And give this a snip from the top so it gets pulled in fully. There we are. And let's give the whole body a little squeeze. And that's the body of this bat. Now onto the wings, and for this let's grab our grey yarn and work a magic ring. To do this, hold the yarn between your two fingers like this and wrap it around the other two fingers, making an X at the base. Turn it over. This is the side you're working with. Slip your hook under the first strand and pull up a loop using the second bit of strand like this. And from here I'm going to pick this bit and pull this through like this. If you have an alternative way to make a magic ring, please do so. And once you've got your magic ring, you are going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. This chain 3 is going to be considered a double crochet. Now in this particular round, we're going to be working double crochets only. So all of the stitches are going to be double crochets instead of single crochets like we did for the body. After this, chain 3, yarn over your hook, slip your hook in the circle, yarn over, pull up a loop. 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through first 2, yarn over, pull through next 2. Now that's 2 double crochets. Let's show you this one more time. Yarn over your hook, slip your hook in the magic ring, pull up a loop, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through first 2, yarn over, pull through next 2. That's 3. We're going to make 15 altogether. 16 including the chain 3. So that's 1, 2, 3, 16 altogether. Here's my 4th one. 5th. Here's my 15th. And stitch number 16. Let's double check that we've got the right amount before closing this gap. So the chain 3 is your first double crochet. Second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Once you have your 16 double crochets, pull on this strand to close your magic ring or magic circle. Locate your chain 3, which is this one here, and slip stitch in the 3rd chain, which is right on the top. Now from here you're going to chain 3 to start round 2. Now this is again a double crochet. Yarn over, skip this hole that we've created, but we're going to slip our hook in the next stitch, which is right around here. Pull up a loop from there and work a double crochet. Yarn over and go back into that same stitch to work another double crochet. So in this particular round we are working a double crochet followed on with an increase. So in the next stitch we're going to work a double crochet followed on with an increase. Now this time, because we're working in double crochets, the increases are also going to be double crochets. And let's finish this round by repeating the same combination. Here's my last stitch, and I'm going to finish off with an increase. And to finish off round 2, I'm going to do the same thing as round 1. Locate your third chain, which is on the top, and work a slip stitch in that third chain. Like this. Chain 3 again, 1, 2, 3, to start round 3. And you're going to yarn over, go into the next stitch, and work a double crochet. This time we have 2 double crochets, and then we're going to follow this on with an increase. And here's your combination for this round. 2 double crochets in a row, followed on with an increase. If at any point, due to the tension in your stitches and your hand, if the stitches start to bow or curve, that's totally okay, because we're going to be folding this in half, so there is no worries in that. Almost to the end now. And that's my combination for the last time. 2 double crochets followed on with an increase in your last stitch. And there we go. Now in the next round, before we start that, let's finish off with this round by working a slip stitch in the top part. 1, 2, 3, third chain, work a slip stitch. After working the slip stitch, let's start the next round by working chain 3. This is again your first double crochet. We're going to have 3 double crochets in a row. So slip your hook in the next stitch. Here's my second, and in the stitch after that is my third double crochet. 3 double crochets in a row, followed on with a combination here. So we're going to slip our hook in there, start with 2 double crochets in the same stitch first. I'm going to chain 2, and then 2 more double crochets all in that same stitch. And this combination is going to be repeated in place of an increase. So now we're going to have 3 double crochets again. 1, 2, and 3, followed on with that combination, which is 2 double crochets, 1, 2 double crochets, chain 2, and 2 more double crochets in that same stitch. Make sure to go in the same stitch. And there we go. Let's show you this one more time. So that's 3 double crochets in a row again. And that combination, which is 2 double crochets, that's 1, 2, chain 2, and 2 more double crochets all in that same stitch. And here we go. Just like this, finish off this whole round. Now the same combination for the last time. Now after this you should have four stitches, and in this again you're going to work 3 double crochets in a row and then followed on with that combination to finish off. And there's my last stitch. Chain 2, back again into the same stitch to work 2 more double crochets. And now to finish off, you're going to work a slip stitch in the chain 3, the top chain here, in the 3rd chain. And there we go. From here, you're going to take your pair of scissors and snip this yarn off, pull it out of the stitch and pull this down to fasten this off. Close the magic ring in the middle as well, make this a little bit shorter. Now from here, we are going to be folding this in half. Going to fold it in half like this so that the points are matching the points like this, and we're going to grab our black yarn and we're going to attach this in the corner here. So we're going to hold all of the points together, and then you'll find the middle bit, which is right here. I'm going to pull this in and attach this yarn like this. Chain 1 to attach, pull that down to secure it in place. Move all the strands inside, because then when we're working the stitches, that will just stay inside. Now move yours, slip your hook in that same stitch again, but guide it to come out from the side as well, so it's like this. We're going to start off by working 3 single crochets across. That's 1. Move to the next stitch in the front and the next stitch at the back as well. Here's my 2nd single crochet and the 3rd one. Once you worked your 3 single crochets, you'll come across that gap, and in that gap we're going to work 2 single crochets, chain 2, 2 more single crochets. We're going to have 6 single crochets across, combining and joining both of the things. So slip your hook from the front and the back like this. 1 single crochet, 2, 3, 4, 5. And once you've worked a single crochet in all of those stitches, you'll come across the gap again, and in that gap we're going to work that combination again. 2 single crochets, chain 2, 2 more single crochets, all in that same gap. Work a single crochet across the top again. Again, I've come across the next gap, align them, and then work that same combination in it. 2 single crochets, chain 2, 2 single crochets. And work this all the way to the end. You can either snip the extra bit sticking out, or you can slip it back in. That's totally up to you. Last time, that same combination again. And we should have 3 single crochets left to work before the end. And here's my last one. Now once you work that, this is what the wing should look like. You're going to chain 1 and snip this yarn off, leaving a long tail. Pull this out, pull this down, And that completes one of the wings. You're going to follow the same instructions and make another one of these. And both of them will have a little tail, which we're going to connect in a minute to make this into our wings. Now onto the ears, and for this let's go ahead and work a slip knot and chain 2. Going to keep the first chain nice and loose, as we will be working quite a few stitches in that. Skip your first chain and work 6 single crochets in the second chain from your hook. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Once you have your 6 single crochets, pull on this bit of yarn to eliminate the gap between your stitches and start working in a spiral. Slip your hook in the first single crochet of your previous round, like this, and work your first single crochet of round 2 in there. I'm going to start using a stitch marker from here to identify the start of my round. Follow this single crochet on with an increase, which means 2 single crochets in the same stitch. And here's your combination: 1 single crochet followed on with an increase. We're going to repeat that 3 times, so we're going to work on it together. And one last time, 1 single crochet followed on with an increase. Now this brings your stitch count to 9. Let's start the next round by working a single crochet in our first stitch. Stitch marker back in place, and we're going to follow the single crochet on with a single crochet in every one of these stitches all the way around. So in total you will have 9 single crochets in a row. Here's my 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and my final stitch number 9. Now on to the next round, and for this you're going to start off by working 2 single crochets in a row. So there's my first. Let's put the stitch marker on. And let's turn this ear the right way around, because that makes it easier for you to see your stitches. Close the gap of with the magic ring again, if it's opening up again. And there we go. So that was 1 single crochet, followed on with another single crochet. So 2 single crochets in a row, followed on with an increase. That's 1. The combination will be repeated 3 times. 2 single crochets in a row, followed on with an increase. Last time, 2 single crochets in a row, followed on with an increase. Now this brings your stitch count to 12. Going to start the next round by working 1 single crochet in our first stitch, stitch marker back in place. Follow this single crochet on with a single crochet in every one of these stitches all the way around. To finish this round, you're going to need 12 single crochets in a row. That's my last 2 stitches. Stitch count is still 12. Let's move on to the next round. And in this round, you're going to start off by working a single crochet. And we're going to follow this on with an increase in the next stitch. And here's your combination for this round. Single crochet followed on with an increase, and repeat that all the way around. Go ahead and work that until you get to this point, and then meet me back here. At the end of this round, stitch count is 18. Let's start the next round by working a single crochet in our first stitch. Stitch marker back in place. Follow the single crochet on with a single crochet in every one of these stitches all the way around. To finish this round, you're going to need 18 single crochets in a row. Once you've done that, you're going to follow the same method 4 times altogether to have 4 rounds of just single crochet. So go ahead and work that and then meet me back here. At the end of 4 rounds of single crochets, your stitch count should still be 18. Now this completes the ear. We are just going to close off the gap between the stitches by holding them two together, the front and the back together, and working a few stitches on top. So to be able to do this, you're going to make sure that the stitch that you finished with is on one side. Slip your hook in the next stitch and then guide it to go through the stitches at the back. Like this. So if I pull this apart, you can see that I've gone through the stitches in the front and the back all in one go. Pull up a loop and work your single crochet. Moving on to the next stitch in the front, next stitch at the back. Like this. And we're going to work our way all the way to the end. You should be able to fit 9 single crochets in a row to close this gap off. Once you've done that, you're going to chain 1 and snip this yarn off, leaving a long tail. Pull it out of the stitch and pull this down, and that completes one of the ears. You're going to follow the same instructions to make another one of these. Go ahead and do that and meet me back here. Now onto the assembly, and we're going to start off by creating this kind of web look onto this wing. To do this, you're going to start off by threading your darning needle with some black DK yarn, and we're going to start anywhere really. I'm going to begin on this point. You can start on any of the points. I'm going to start here by slipping my needle through this pointy part of the wing. I'm going to keep this thread quite long, slip back into that same stitch or same space, create a loop, slip my needle through that loop to create a knot in place. Once this thread is secure here, you're going to take this needle in the center and we're going to start attaching it right in the center to start creating this webbed look like this. So the line is here. I'm going to turn this over so we can have a line at the back as well. So bringing it back to the starting point, going through that corner again and creating a loop with your thread. Slip your needle inside that loop and secure this in place, making sure it's not too loose or too tight. And once we've secured that, that finishes the first line. Now from here we are going to, first of all, let's go ahead and snip this yarn down to a shorter size, and let's get rid of this. And there we go. Now we are going to, from here, take the needle and go in a zigzag format through these stitches over to the next corner or the point, which is right here. Pull the thread in. Once you've done that, you're going to pull these apart so this part is not gathering up. We're going to repeat that same step here as well. Create a loop with your yarn, slip your needle inside that loop to create a knot in place so it's secure here. And once that is done, you're going to create that line. Now this time around, if I do a line on its own, it's going to be unattached. Well, we won't be connecting with that, so we want to put our needle underneath the first line to create the link, and just like this we're going to connect those two, turn this over, connect it back to the starting point, and from here just like this you're going to repeat the process 2 more times. Let's do that together. Again, connecting it with this thread, so under first loop, and connect it right here by creating a loop, making a thread go through it, and there we go. All 3 of them are connected at the same point. Turn it over, do the same with this side as well. And for the last time, pull these apart, and there we go. Secure. Connect. Again, secure. Turn it over and connect back to the starting point. And once you have embroidered this web look, you are going to just work this end in this part of the black stitches, and if you wish to you can simply slip this inside. Because this is doubled up, you can actually just slip this inside the stitches and leave the strand in there. Do the same with this strand as well. Work this into the black stitches. And snip this off, this extra bit off. And this finishes the web look for this wing. Now moving on to attaching these wings onto the body. So let's grab the body. We're going to make sure that the eyes are facing us. So we're facing the front part of this bat, and you're going to be taking the stitch and the thread that was coming out of here and thread that into your darning needle. We're going to turn this over directly on the back, and we are going to be sewing these ends onto right in the middle of this section like this. So to do this, you are going to take both of the wings and find the place where you are going to be putting them. You are welcome to use a pin to secure these in places if you wish, or just go by the look of it if you like. I am going to just hold it in place and sew it together with the stitches on the body. So catch one stitch on the body, catch one stitch on the wing, and sew this black part together like this. One stitch at a time, keep moving one stitch down on the body, and then catch the lower stitch on the wing as well. And just like this, you're going to sew both of those components together. Once you get to the bottom part of this wing, you are going to create a loop by slipping your needle into the same stitch one more time. Create a loop with your thread, slip this needle inside the loop and pull this down to secure this in place. Now from here you are going to attach the bottom part of this wing just down here as well, only a little bit. So we're not going to attach the whole thing, but we're going to attach at least 5 stitches down here. So continuing with the same process, the same method, hold it in place and simply catch one stitch on the body, catch one stitch on the wing, and attach the two things together. And once you've achieved what you need to sew, you are going to repeat the same process by creating a loop, slipping your needle inside the loop, and tighten. And there we go. That attaches one of the wings onto the body. Now you're going to follow the same method and attach the other wing on as well, and then meet me back here. Wings are now on. Let's move on to embroidering the mouth. For this, thread your darning needle with black yarn, and we're going to be embroidering this mouth 4 rounds below where the eyes were inserted. So here is the round where we inserted the eyes. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the round where we're going to embroider the mouth. I'm going to insert the needle from further away and make it come out from where I want the mouth to begin, like this. And from here, keeping in mind how wide I want the smile to be, and at the same time keeping it symmetrical or equidistant from both sides, I'm going to insert the needle on this side of the stitch and then guide it to come out 1 round below and right in the center. So there's 1 round below and right in the center. Make it come out from that stitch like this. Lift it up. So there is a straight line for now, and you can see that this thread came out from 1 round below. You're going to insert this needle back into that same stitch where we took this thread out and guide it to go to the starting point right here. Let's pull this in, and when you pull this in a little bit, you will see that it automatically goes into a lovely smile like this. And here we go. Now taking these 2 strands, we're going to give it a little knot in place. And from here you can either use your needle to slip this into the head and make it come out from another side of the head, and snip this extra yarn off, squeeze the head and that will disappear. Or you could use a darning needle, or you can use your hook, slip your hook from further away, make it come out from that same stitch the way this thread is coming out from, loop this yarn onto the hook and pull this in. If it's too long, snip it down to a shorter size and pull this into the head like this. And that's the smile complete. Now onto the details on the eyes, and for this, thread your darning needle with white yarn. We are going to simply create 2 lines on either side of the eye. To do this, insert your needle from further away, make it come out from the top of the eye, as close as you can keep it, and then slip this needle in at the bottom of the eye. Guide it to come out from the other side, keeping it symmetrical. So come out from the top of the eye like this, and go in from the bottom of the eye, and then guide this thread to go back, or needle to go back to the starting point, which is right here. And there we go. So we'll pull this in and give this whole head a little squeeze, and that should create the detail of the eye that we would desire. Now we can go ahead and snip this yarn down to a smaller size. Let's give these threads a little knot in place. Take our hook, slip in from further away, make it come out from that same stitch, loop both of those strands onto the hook and pull them into the head. If it's too long, you can snip them down to a shorter size and pull them into the head like this. If it comes out from another side, we can always snip it off from here, or you can just push it back in. And there we go. That's the eyes, details of the eyes complete as well. Now onto the final detail, which is the ears, and for this, let's grab one. We're going to be sewing this on the side like this. Let's grab both of those, and this is the look we are after. And to do this, you're going to start with one. So let's see how we are going to position this. We are going to be keeping this, we're going to be sewing this in 2 rounds above where the eyes are inserted. So there's the eye, so 1, 2, and that's where we are going to be sewing this, but directly on the side profile. So that's where the starting point is going to be. So let's repeat this. 2 rounds above the eye, and it's going to be exactly on the side. So this is the side profile, so this is going to be directly in the middle. So the corner is going to be directly in the middle of the side profile. Once you've positioned it in the right place, you're going to start attaching this by catching 1 stitch on the head like this, and attach that corner on perfectly first. I'm going to make it go through that same stitch one more time just to confirm that stitch is attached. And there we go. Once that's done, you're going to just move on to the next stitch on the head, next stitch on the ear. And just like this, you're going to sew the 2 components together, keeping them all in the same round. Now onto the last stitch, and here we're going to again go through the same stitch a couple of times so the connection is really nice and strong. And once we've done that, we're going to do this last time and create a loop in place. There we go. Slip your needle in, pull this through and pull this down, and that attaches one of the ears on. You're going to slip this needle back into that same stitch, guide it to go through some fibre fill, come out from another side, pull this out, and as it's so long, we're going to just snip this off from here, and there we go. One of the ears are now attached. Going to follow the same instructions and attach the other ear on as well, and then meet me back here. Ears are now on, and this is what the finished bat looks like. You can from here add a string here to make this into a wall hanging, or add a little accessory if you wish to. If you enjoyed making this little bat with me, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching.